6, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Through Black and White Eyes. Sorry, I've had a moral. I apologise, but it is what it is. Wife got stuck at work. It happens, but I'm here. Obviously, I'm by myself because Baz is at work. So what I'm going to do is talk for about 20-25 minutes and just discuss what I thought of the game last night, what you think of the game, who you thought was man of the match. We'll go on about a few little things. I've been told something about the Premier League voting for something to block loans and stuff. I'll give me much of a massive problem, to be honest, but it is what it is. But we'll just quickly dive into the comments because obviously there'll be a few because I am late. Evening, Gary. Gary, that announcement confirmed the voice has boiled my... I'm going to talk about that, mate. I don't think it's as bad as you think. Personally, who we're going to take from the Saudi League? I mean, look, you've got Gabri Vega, who's a good player, and you've got Ruben Neves. I've been told time and time again that Ruben Neves is not a target. He's never been a target. I've got that confirmed by a few people, and Nelly also told me on the show a few weeks ago it's not happening. So I think this is just... It's not the top six for me because this also affects Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, because they all do this. So this is probably coming from Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United, them type of clubs. 14 clubs have to agree to it. We won't, Man City won't, Chelsea won't, and Arsenal won't. So there's 4 down already. So it is what it is. But like I said, who we're going to loan anyway? I mean, Neves is a good player, but we could have bought him in the summer and we didn't. So there you go. Unfortunately, as a matter of time, some very nasty clubs trying to protect their status don't like us. Yeah, they're trying to derail. This was well before the takeover mind, but they keep failing. And it just shows you how scared they're running. I mean, Arsenal fans have been badgering on all for 4 days now about how unlucky and this corrupt and all that. You know what it is? Newcastle are really getting into teams' heads right now, and this is what it's causing. You know what I hope? I seriously hope Newcastle, Brighton and Aston Villa break the top 6 this season. It's probably not going to happen, but wouldn't it be bloody hilarious? I was expecting it, but it's blatant agenda against us. I wouldn't care. The Premier League have come out and said it. It's not just against Newcastle, it affects others. Man City won't be happy about this. They've got clubs left, right and centre. And they will not be happy about this, but it's temporary as well. And it concerns loans. So if you want Neves, can pay the money for him. It's just loans. Evening, Tom. Let's beat Bournemouth Saturday night. Hopefully, I think we will. But that's another show. Yup, 100% focus on that game as they watch along. Gary doing it. Possibly. I think it's on the night time, so there's a good opportunity. I will be, yes. Or Baz will be doing it. About to go live, peeps. Yep, we are. Everybody just saying hello there, hello to everybody, and breathe, Gary. I don't know what, honestly. I was, we'll put it this way, I was in County Durham half an hour ago in a car park. County Durham. It's one of those, the wife was stuck at work. It can't be helped. It's a situation where we've got one car. I need the car to take the kids to school. I need the car to pick the kids up because they're not walking distance. It's just the way it is. We can both drive. It's just obviously 2 cars is expensive. There was something about associated sponsors in there too. Yeah, something like that, but seller's already done and all that. It to be honest, it's a weird one because I think I don't think the Premier League are against as much as the media are making out. I think it's the top certain clubs that are doing this, and it's why would that? I mean, what? Look, the Premier League were against the takeover originally, right? But why would they be up against it now? PIF are bringing a lot of money into the Premier League. It's just it's one of those. It was always going to happen. I mean, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. I really ain't. I mean, Benzema was never coming in a million years. He's happy where he is. Ronaldo wasn't coming. What we can, and every other player they've signed. I mean, what Jordan Henderson coming is it? Every other player they've signed. It's just they're finished. So I'm not really bothered. Honestly, I'm not. It's just another agenda against us, but it's one more come out on top again, just like we did with the takeover, just like we've done when we got top four, and they cannot stop it. It's like I've heard from people close to the clubs. The club can't be stopped. Newcastle are just going to keep going, and you know what it does? It puts fuel to the fire, and it gives PIF more time, and it gives PIF to think, right, you are really riling us up now. We're going for it. And that's what they're going to do. You know what? They'll go and find another Tino Livramento. That's what they'll do. It'll be Klopp and Liverpool. They'll be number one then, without a doubt. It's Liverpool, Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea, Spurs, 100% guarantee. I'm not sure, Gary, about Chelsea or Arsenal, man, because apparently they do this. So Liverpool, Man United, and Spurs, 100%. The other two, I'm not sure about. Chelsea, I know Bowley's trying to build connections with clubs regarding this. So I don't think Chelsea might be. I think Chelsea will vote against this. Premier League have to be careful. Could be done fancy competition or disruption of business 100%. If anybody can find a way, it's Newcastle. Funnily enough, Newcastle have apparently known about this for a few weeks. This isn't just being sprung on them. They've been aware of this. I think Ashworth coming out the other day and mentioning this. I think it's just it's something that I think the club have been prepared for. And like I said, I've been told numerous times Ruben Neves is not a target. I think it's one of the smoke screens that the club put out. I don't think they're interested. Like I said, they would have bought him at Wolves. Right. Obviously, we're here to talk about the match from last night. But obviously, don't forget to follow our sponsors, Diet Crow. They do some wonderful merchandise. And don't forget to do the code BAS24, 20% off. And we're selling these coded badges again. I'm not sure how much they are. No, that's bad from me, but I think they might just be seeing how many people want them at the moment. But obviously, they look great. I think they can go outside and obviously inside, and it'd be a smashing Christmas present with Christmas coming up. So if you're interested, message me or Baz, and we will pass it on. Right. Obviously, this is Newcastle Benfield. Sorry, we're excited to announce an evening with Keith Gillespie and Lee Cork to be held at Grand Go Park on the 28th of March 2024. Please DM for table information and pricing. If you'd like to get along, obviously DM. That should be a cracking evening, man. Rob Lee and Keith. You know what is Keith Gillespie? He had his problems, but I tell you what, man, he was, for me, one of the most underrated crossers in world football. He was absolutely fantastic at times, and obviously he's going to get asked questions about Barcelona, isn't he? Because that night, I mean, Tino gets all the praise, but Keith Gillespie that night was absolutely phenomenal. Right, full time, obviously 2-0. I went 2-1 to us. But I always thought in the back of my mind that this was going to be a tough game, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. I think part of the reason why is because I think Dortmund play similar to us, and obviously injuries haven't helped this, that, and the other. But this was the Dortmund lineup. There was no major surprises for me apart from Royce. I thought Royce might stay in. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, Julian Brandt is a very, very good footballer, and he missed the first leg because of injury. Now, I remember saying on the show at the time that Julian Brandt, I was delighted he was out. Yesterday, he was a problem, a big problem. And I tell you what, I would buy him. Honestly, I would. I think he's a fantastic player. And I think we need that type of player. Somebody who can just literally pinpoint. At times yesterday, I thought when we got into good positions, our ball just wasn't good enough. And that's where a Brand or a James Maddison, for example, would have been perfect because they can play through for the strikers and stuff like that. But obviously, I'm going to give my opinion on Newcastle's performance and everything like that. Everything else was what I expected. Adeyemi caused a lot of problems for me. I have heard a lot of people saying that Dortmund are really good at the back. I think they're right, but there's clearly a weakness there because Harry Kane scored a hat-trick at the weekend. So for me, it's probably down to the striker. And I'm not going to lie, I thought our striker was non-existent yesterday. But I will talk about him in a minute because he is one of my gripes. Sorry. Any massive Wilson fans out there? This was our lineup. It was a shock for me. I don't think anybody would have picked the lineup. Now, right, this is my opinion on the lineup. Give your opinion on the lineup as well. I was happy when I saw the lineup, but as the game went on, I don't know what anybody else thinks, right? Give your opinions, but I think that's probably the lineup that should have started against Bournemouth and not last night because I've realised. I'm going to talk about him now because I don't think he is in the slides. But obviously, I'm going to talk about Callum. And for me, I've watched him in the Champions League now since Milan and whenever he's played. And he hasn't really done it. And I don't think that's particularly because Wilson's a bad player, because he's not. He is a good player. He's a finisher. But I don't think we play to Wilson's strength, especially in the Champions League. And Bournemouth at the weekend for me would have been the game, as the game went on, would have been the game that Wilson should have started and Gordon should have started last night up front for me. I think that would have worked better. Wilson played against Dortmund in the first leg, and he was a bit better in the first leg than he was in the second leg. But I just think there just wasn't enough from me. Wilson's movement wasn't enough. He wasn't strong enough. He went off injured at half time. I mean, God. I mean, it's like, I love Callum, but he cannot play more than one game a week. He cannot. And as much as I think the club have got loads right, and I'm not having to go at the club here, the one thing that didn't get right for me was they should have bought a striker in the summer, because you cannot rely on Isak and Wilson to stay fit, especially in the Champions League. I love Callum, but if you want to play Champions League football, you need a third striker, and he needs to be the third striker. You need to speak to him in the summer and go, if we're in Europe next season, do you want to stay? Then you're going to be third choice for me. We're going to buy somebody in. Isak and him are going to fight. You're going to play Carabao, FA Cup. If he's happy with that, then great. If not, maybe it's time to go. But that's not because of his ability. I think it's hard to underestimate. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't write Callum Wilson off because he could be fit the weekend and he could score a goal. And that's what Callum Wilson does. He's a goal scorer. He's one of the best goal scorers. And I'll always look on Callum Wilson as a guy who had to put up with the Bruciers and stuff like that. But I just think we're coming to the stage now where it's showed in the Champions League. Bournemouth at home, no problem. Palace at home, no problem. It's different in the Champions League. We need something else. I personally, I don't know what you think, but I personally think we have missed Isak more than we've missed Sven Botman. Now, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I think Isak has been a massive miss. And it's just the movement, and especially in the Champions League. I could be pushing here, but if Isak had been fit for both Dortmund games, do I think we would have picked points up? Yes, I do. That's my personal opinion. Right, we're going to nip back into the comments because obviously there's a few of them. It was a good cross, Harry, couldn't run for 90 minutes. He was just a bit of a knacker at times, but apart from that, spot on. I was thinking, oh God. Well, I never saw Terry Hibbert, but I've heard nothing but absolute joy from people about how good Terry Hibbert was. But I never saw him play. I think the vast majority of fans know the lads gave it all last night. Our return to European level is so new. I completely agree that the one thing you can't fault Newcastle is the hard work and commitment. They ran their socks off last night. They were knackered. There's loads of players injured, and you could tell they were a bit drained. And I think mentally, they put a lot in Arsenal at the weekend, but the injuries haven't helped, man. That's the one thing we couldn't have vouched for. But it's just little things for me. We knew we needed a centre back in the summer. We didn't do it, and I'm not blaming the centre backs yesterday. Although the first goal was a bit, I thought was poor defending. I just think defender, centre back, and a striker were needed in the summer. But we'll do it. We'll get there. But I can't fault the players. The players run their socks off. Every one of them. It's just. I just think there's a few players off their game at the minute. And look, I love the guy, but I think Kieran Trippier's off his game. That's my Baz doesn't, but I do. And Baz probably thinks he's not at his best, but I just, I mean, I could talk about the goals, this, that, and the other, but that cross for that second goal yesterday. I mean, you've got every player in the box. You've got to beat the first man, and it came from his poor free kick. And I'm not blaming him. It's just frustrating. I just don't think Kieran's been on it since Palace at home. And that's probably got something to do. It could be a number of things. It could be he could be carrying an injury. He could be knackered. You can't remember he goes away for England as well. And it could be, I mean, I don't think it is this because I think Kieran's an experienced player, but could be something to do with Tino Livramento coming on the scene. He could suddenly think, "Whoa, I've got a serious problem here for my position," and that could have happened as well. What happened to Shaw? I thought Shaw did all right last night, but the first goal wasn't very good. I'm obsessed with but Hibbert all the time. Think Rashford is sent off, or is he not playing? Because I'm not going to lie, me and Baz would love Marcus Rashford at Newcastle, but it's not going to happen. I'm worried about Wilson's hamstring injuries. Get used to it, Tom, because this lad cannot stay fit. Well, I've said it time and again, you can't play Callum more than one game a week. And unfortunately, he gets injuries and all. So what we need, I know this sounds ridiculous, but we could seriously do with Chris Wood at the minute, because Chris Wood doesn't pick injuries up. He's a strong lad. And we could seriously do with somebody strong up front. And I mean, I think it'll be different in the summer because I think they'll go out and buy a striker in the summer, like a top one. Red card incoming. Dortmund won because they had 10 and 2 fast rapid forwards that both wins and score by and beat best Dortmund because they had some Nabry world-class winger who was so fast they abused. Well, that's where I think Eddie might have got his team wrong, because obviously Gordon and Miggy were on the bench, and I think Miggy and Gordon would have been better being benched at the weekend against Bournemouth. And Wilson starting against Bournemouth and just little things like that. I mean, I wasn't complaining about the lineup when I saw it, but I found it a bit strange. And instantly I thought in my head that he must be going, hoping to get in the game after 60 minutes and then bring Gordon and Miggy on. But obviously he had to bring them on earlier. I don't think Lewis Hall's yellow card helped either. Not one bit. We are just dipping our toes in the pond in the Champions League. How far ahead are we? Schedule is a plus and a minus, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think it does. I think the only thing for me is it would have been nice to see how far we could have gone if Botman, Isak, Barnes had all been fit and all he hadn't been suspended. It would have been interesting to see how far we could have gone, because our fully fit team doesn't lose to Dortmund twice. That's my opinion. So it's a shame, but it is what it is, isn't it? Injuries. I've never known an injury like this, rabid season like this. Yep, there it is. We're Wilson, Isak approach is different, where Alex will go for the hunter ball, may chance cancel multiple play to him. You and me, and it's a dilemma. It's 100% true. I don't think Callum is the way we want to play and the way Champions League is. Callum doesn't seem to work for me. And I think Callum, look, Man United away is a prime example of this. Would destroyed Man United. And would we have destroyed Man United with Wilson as the striker? Possibly, I don't know. But Gordon's, if you've ever got a chance at that game, watch Gordon's movement in that game. The first goal, Gordon ran, took the defenders away. Tino came in, passed it to Miggy. Miggy had one defender. It was Gordon's running that created the space as well. People going on about Marcus. We start Isak. Yeah, Isak would start. I'm nearly falling asleep here. Dortmund are weak as they play a high line defence, but they're slow. Gary, until we buy top white players and stop waiting for a right back to cross, we'll never progress in that competition. We need better players. It's and this isn't having to go at the lads we've got. You see in the Champions League, we need to add quality. Mind, I will say one thing: Tino Livramento is an incredible talent. Like somebody who doesn't come along very often. Then if we can somehow, Tino starts every game for me. I don't care who he plays. Again, that lad has. You know what? At times he was covering the centre backs yesterday. He's a phenomenal player. And I agree. I think Harvey Barnes would have made a difference being in. But I completely agree. I think the pace wasn't there in the first half, and it showed. I was surprised Joe Linton was on the left and Willock was in the middle. I would have switched them. I know Joe can play there, but I prefer Joe in the middle. I always have. And I would have swapped them. Stood on someone's ankle. 2-1. Do you think we will beat Bournemouth on Saturday? Yes, I do, Tom. Because Newcastle always turn up when they need you. A lot of other people do. Gary, even with the full squad there, levels to the Champions League, we're going to have to find two solid creators inside. Bruno at the top inside, even Gordon showed he in that. Gordon, I think, is mine, but I agree with you. We need to find a creator. And I think that's why I was surprised Maddison didn't sign. Because we need something. I'm not just saying Maddison. I would buy Julian Brandt, mate. I really would. I think he's a fantastic player. Maybe Tonali came in to add Champions League experience. Gordon will get there, trust me. Gordon's a fantastic player. Dummett, being this lack of experience, we were just going to get 2 years of where we should be. Gary, we have a 6'4" striker in Isak, so I don't see Eddie buying another. Possibly not, me. I don't know. I mean, it depends what Eddie wants. I think Eddie wants fast-paced game, right? So I was just saying Chris Wood at the minute. That's what it was. I think, look, who would I buy in the summer? Right, if I had abundance of money in the summer, I would go buy Osman, right? It's not going to happen, but that's who I would buy. But he's a rapid striker, and that's what we need. We need somebody who's going to pull defenders left, right, and centre. And we don't play the long ball. It's not our game. We're giving the top brass man a sleepless nights we are. Is 21 Gary and Gordon is miles off his level. All our wingers are, yes, we have to improve, but don't will beat us even with a strong squad even in the last 20 years. I have to admit, Adeyemi caused us major issues yesterday at times. I would buy Adeyemi, but I don't think our first team would give Dortmund a game. I truly believe that. Whether they would win, St. James I get where you're coming from, though. We do need something because we're short. We're short in that quality, Champions League quality, and that's why they got Tonali in. And I mean, I'm trying to think, look, but to get quality for Champions League, you're going to have to spend a lot of money, or you're going to have to get Ashworth to go out and find a star. Tino was here for next year's class. I want to see Miley more. Completely agree. I see Target has had surgery. Yeah, no. Hopefully he's all right. He's looked a bit gutted, to be honest. I disagree, Billy. We have just been watching just on that performance. Penalty. Copenhagen. Right, here we go. Good on Jamie to the all levels. It was amazing at 17 goals. Gordon is trying to do with some good games for him in the Champions League. No, are you a Gordon fan or? I just get the impression you're not a massive Gordon fan. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think Gordon's one of the least of our worries in the Champions League. I think there's miles players who we need to improve over Gordon. But that's why I like opinions on football, because sometimes I think I'm wrong, because the Chronicle rated Joe Linton a 5 today and called him the worst player. And I was scratching my head. I'm thinking he wasn't the worst Newcastle player yesterday. But it's opinions in it. 2-2. Right. Let's quickly get on. Right. Obviously, there was the lads lining up, depleted, but you cannot beat a good old Champions League anthem at the beginning, can you? It's fantastic. There were the stats. Obviously, we had the possession, but I think that was from the second half. But there's no denying Dortmund deserved to win the game for me. Dorf had more. I think we win at our best. I think Eddie admitted that. And it's just the way it is, isn't it? It was one of those. And I think this year the Champions League's going to be experienced, but in the summer we're going to have to go big. We're going to have to go big in the summer. Frustration from us is that there's some more in the tank. We are better than that. I don't think Dortmund have seen the best Newcastle, but we have delivered. That's what Eddie said. Obviously, Lewis Miley came on the pitch, and it's good to see, because basically he's a fantastic talent, and I think he needs more time. And I think he was the youngest player. I think Newcastle player at his age to play in the competition, which is good. Obviously, clapping the fans at the end of the game, and this tradition now, it comes with it, isn't it? Tradition. And obviously Eddie Howe, congratulations to him, 2 years. What a phenomenal job that man has done. Can't see any more than that. He's been fantastic. And obviously might wish you on Eddie at some point, because he's possibly been one of the best managers we've had, and long may it continue for me. Right, Gary, I want to keep our rate for me. Kobel has stopped dropping the ball. He's quality. I completely agree. Kobel is top quality, and I would have him. 30 minutes of stoppage. Entry down the middle, emergency. Proud of the lads. Their right attack will be a great purchase for us. Yes, I think it was Adeyemi or Brandt. I would take any. Horde should have been spoken to by the ref and won, not just given a card, especially if it was a joke of a booking. An absolute joke of a booking. It was ridiculous. I'm like a Cheshire cat with that. They will fold now, Man U, probably. Gary, I'm a realist. I think Gordon is an okay player, but I don't believe he's our future players. I like Eddie, man. Even with Rashford, born with an eye for goal, and he doesn't. And he's the game you need. Well, it's an opinion, mate. I think Gordon's quality, but I respect your opinion, and football is about opinions, and that's what I like. Obviously, some people will agree with you, some won't. But I'm fine with the comment. 100%. I'm saying Jules, no leeway. Ref not bad, Jesus, Oliver. Obviously, the show didn't go as I planned tonight. I planned on staying for on about 20 to 30 minutes. I've done 30 minutes. Obviously, I wanted to get here a bit earlier and a bit longer, but it is what it is. Thinking of doing a show in the next couple of days on Eddie Howe and what he's done, and just so pop in the comments little things about Eddie and stuff like that. What you think he's done, this, that, and the other, and I will do a live show at some point, possibly Friday. We'll have a 15-minute discussion on Eddie Howe and the job he's done. Let us know in the comments your favourite games, everything like that. We'll pop it on and we'll have a nice little discussion on Friday during the day at some point. And quickly through the comments, I rate Lewis, Smiley, Anderson, and Tino there for talent. Gordon will never have him, sorry, but I've seen 4 years of talent, even has that a little. No, I've seen nothing. Gordon has improved tenfold and believe this will continue. I believe it will, but I respect his opinion because it's about opinions, is it? Gary, it's okay. Thank you for doing the show. No problem at all. Sorry it's been a quick one, but there's what it is. It just didn't go to plan. But thanks for joining. Obviously, we will have a look ahead to the Bournemouth game coming up, and I will do a show on Eddie Howe, which I've wanted to do for a long time. But thanks for joining us, and I will see you soon. Cheers.